What is environment? An environment is everything that is around us, which includes both living and non living things such as soil, water, animals, and plants, which adapt themselves to their surroundings. It is nature's gift that help in nourishing life on the earth. Ecosystem and its components. Ecosystem. An ecosystem consists of all the living organisms in an area along with the non-living components and their interaction. There are different types of ecosystems. They are first natural ecosystems like forests, deserts, grasslands, mountains, ponds, lakes, rivers, oceans, etc. Artificial ecosystems like gardens, parks, crop fields, aquarium, zoo, etc. Components of an ecosystem. An ecosystem consists of two main components. They are biotic and abiotic components. Biotic components are living components like plants, animals, and microorganisms. They consist of producer, consumers, and decomposers. Producers are green plants which produce food. Consumers are herbivores which get their food directly from plants. Carnivores which get their food indirectly from plants, and omnivores which get their food directly or indirectly from plants. Decomposers are microorganisms which decomposes dead plants and animals. They decompose complex organic substance into simple organic substance in the soil, which are again used by plants. Second, abiotic components are the non-living components like air, water, soil, minerals, sunlight, temperature, wind, etc. Food chain. The food can be transferred from one organism to the other through food chains. In simple words, sequence of living organisms in which another organism consumes is food chain. Starting point of food chain is producers, that is plants. So all food chains begin with plants. A food chain represents a single directional transfer of energy. Example, grass, deer, lion. The following chain tells that transfer of energy takes place from grass to deer and not in reverse direction. The study of food chain in an area or habitat help us knowing interactions among different organisms. Examples of food chain: grassland food chain, aquatic food chain. Food web, the interconnected food chains operating in an ecosystem which establishes a network of relationship between various species is called a food web. The food web has many interosses and linkages among various species. This means the various food chains in an ecosystem do not operate in isolation. Examples of food web: a food web in a grassland ecosystem with 5 possible food chains, and a food web in a forest. Difference between food chain and food web. Food chain. A list of organisms showing who eats whom is called food chain. The network of large number of food chains existing in an ecosystem is called food web. A food chain represents a unidirectional transfer of energy. The food web has many interosses and linkages among various species. Food chain represents single habitat. The food web represents many habitat. Effect of man's activities on ecosystem. The shortening of food chains due to man's activities like hunting leads to an imbalance in the functioning of an ecosystem and ultimately in the functioning of the whole biosphere. Example, the formation of Sahara Desert is an example of ill effect of man's activities in the delicately balanced ecosystem. If trophic levels are removed, if lions are removed, if all lions are removed by hunting, there will be no predator, which leads to increased population of deers. As a result, deers eat all grass and thus Greenland turns as a desert. If plants are removed, if all plants are removed, then there will no deer or lion as there is no food for their survival. Transfer of energy in food chains. The food chain in a community actually represents a stepwise transfer of food and energy contained in food. First trophic level, producers, plants. Second trophic level, primary consumer, herbivorous. Third trophic level, secondary consumers, carnivorous. Fourth trophic level, tertiary consumers, top carnivores. Four steps involved in transfer of energy. Energy is not created in the ecosystem, it is converted from one to another. There is a continuous transfer of energy from one trophic level to next trophic level. At trophic level, some of the energy is utilized by organisms. There is a loss of energy transfer in various levels of organism and remains unutilized. Trophic levels. Each step in a food chain where transfer of food energy takes place is called trophic level. The first trophic level consists of producers. The second trophic level consists of primary consumers. The third trophic level consists of secondary consumers. The fourth trophic level consists of tertiary consumers. Since the transfer of food energy decreases at every trophic level, the number of trophic levels are limited and do not exceed 4 or 5. 10% law. It was proposed by Raymond Laurel Lindman. Plant absorb 1% sun energy for primary production and will give only 10% of utilized energy as net production available for the herbivorous. When the plants are consumed by animal, about 10% of the energy in the food is fixed into animal flesh, which is available for next trophic level, carnivorous or omnivorous. When a carnivore or an omnivore consumes that animal, only about 10% of energy is fixed in its flesh for the higher level. An example, sun releases 1 lakh joule of energy. Then plant takes only 10,000 joule of the energy from sunlight and stores 1000 joule available for herbivores and omnivores. Thereafter a deer would take 100 joule from the plant. A wolf eating the deer would only take 10 joule. A human eating the wolf would take 1 joule. Biological magnification, biomagnification, harmful chemicals like insecticides and pesticides which are used to protect crops from insects and pests are absorbed by plants and enter the food chain. Since these chemicals are non-biodegradable, they get accumulated at every trophic level and their concentration increases. Since human beings occupies the highest trophic level, the concentration of these harmful chemicals is maximum in our bodies. The increase in concentration of harmful chemicals in bodies of organisms at higher trophic levels is called biological. Human activities affect the environment. Depletion of ozone layer in the atmosphere. Ozone molecule contains 3 oxygen atoms O3. At higher levels in the atmosphere, the UV radiation splits some oxygen molecules O2 into free oxygen atoms, which combines with oxygen molecules to form ozone. It is highly poisonous. Oxygen molecule in presence of UV radiation splits into free oxygen atoms. Now O2 plus O, free oxygen atom, gives ozone. The ozone layer present in higher layer of the atmosphere protects the earth from the harmful UV radiation from the sun. UV radiation causes skin cancer in humans. The ozone layer is being damaged by the use of chemicals like chlorofluorocarbons used in refrigerators and fire extinguishers, so the use of CFC is now being reduced to protect the ozone layer. Effect of adding waste to the environment. Human activities produced a lot of waste materials which are thrown away into the environment. This waste causes pollution of air, water and soil. The waste materials produced are two main types. They are biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable wastes. Biodegradable waste. are waste which are decomposed into harmless substance by microorganisms, example vegetables, fruits, pulses, cereals, cotton, jute, wool, wood, leather, paper, animal dung, animal bones, etc. Non-biodegradable waste are waste which are not decomposed by microorganisms, example polythene bags, plastics, synthetic fibers, glass metals, synthetic rubber, insecticide, pesticide, etc. Managing the garbage we produce. The household waste is called garbage. Some of the garbage is biodegradable and some are non biodegradable. Garbage causes pollution of air, water, and soil, so it should be disposed properly. Some of the methods of garbage disposal are landfills, recycling, production of biogas and manure, preparation of compost, incineration, and sewage treatment.